YouTube! This is Lance Short, aka XModNSX, aka That Fat Gamer Bassist, here with another RC update video. What you see before you is the truck that I previously had shown to you before. It's got a few modifications on it. It's the same Megatech MegaPro M Pro RCT / Megatech ProPulse T100 that I've shown you before, but with new tires. If I can focus. There we are. Street treads, and the new candy apple red paint job that I painted and decaled myself. I even glued on those awesome number plates. Other than that, this truck is pretty much stock, except I took it back to the stock configuration. Now, why in the world would you do that, you ask? Well, pretty simple. Dual motors is a lot to work on. Just gonna throw that out there. It's just way too much for one guy to take care of, and it's just a pain. Motor screws were backing out, pinions were slipping. It was just a mess. Plus, it wasn't giving me the performance I was wanting anyway, so I went back to this motor conversion. Or not conversion, back to the original setup. Except, I kept the taller pinion from one of the motors. The stock setup is a 12-tooth. This is a 15-tooth pinion in there now. And it also ate the spur gear with those dual motors. There was a lot of torque coming out from both those motors, but I never had the mesh right, and it was just eating the spur gear alive. So I decided to replace that with a 53-tooth spur, as opposed to the 54-tooth stocker. So it's an interesting trade-off. It's got plenty of top end for sure, and these grip amazing on tarmac and pavement and all that good stuff. I use this mainly at my workplace on brakes. Few buddies of mine go out in the parking lot and just screw around with RC cars. So I just got some street treads for this, and they've worked awesome. Kudos Megatech for that tread design. Also, not too bad for my first ever spray job, huh? I'll be doing more of that later on for sure. Now, got that update out of the way. See if I can line that up. Come on. Oh, I'm going to have to set the phone down for this, I think. Maybe. One continuous shot. There we are. Set the motor, set the body down on that, and back out we are. Now, for the piece de resistance, emerging from the shadows. By the way, big points to you if you remember this thing that I'm about to this big thing that I'm about to reveal. Whammo. Check that sweetness out. That is an old Duratrax Maximum ST Nitro that you're looking at. This is a thing of beauty and awesome, and I can't even describe. This was my first ever hobby grade RC vehicle. My grandfather bought this for me when I was 13, somewhere in there. Got this thing from Tower Hobbies, brand new. Took it out to the beach and took a trip to Florida, ran on the beach. Dumb. I can hear people saying it now. You're right. I absolutely I got sand in the engine and ruined it. And it has sat in my family's garage ever since. That was back in 2005. You can see all the dust this thing has accumulated over the past 5+ years of sitting in a garage. This motor, absolutely shot. Watch. Yeah. That's I don't care how hard you tug on that thing is seized bad. It's kind of a shame because that was the infamous Torque 16 and not the Torque 12 that was supposed to come in this thing. It's kind of sad because that thing was a screamer. We never really got the motor tuned to where it would actually run, but I digress on that. I have plans for this thing. It's not to replace the nitro motor. I learned my lesson quickly from that. There's too much running gear to get this thing up and running. You need a glow plug, and you need fuel, and you need a glow starter, and you need a no more. I'm going to convert this thing to electric, if it kills me, and hopefully it doesn't. From what you see here, it's really not going to be that hard of a fix, I don't think. Because all I would have to do is replace the engine with an electric motor, and the motor would fit, and motor would mesh with the spur gear right where the clutch bell is coming out of the nitro engine. So, obviously, electric motor goes here. Simple. Now, this servo is going to be out of the way, so we might be able to fit a battery pack here, and we're not going to need this anymore since this is going to plug into the ESC. Bingo. The ESC right there. Probably switch. I'm going to plan on switching this servo out. Maybe going to a spread spectrum system, bispectrum, for a radio to avoid runaways, because these old AM radios were notorious for running away. But other than that, look at this. Aluminum chassis. You hardly ever see that on electric vehicles. Look at this. Fully threaded aluminum shocks. Good springs. Still plenty of flex in that. Look at that. I mean, this thing is almost oversprung. So this thing is going to handle quite well. The stock V-treads, they still have a good amount of wear on them. And I believe there are foams in there. I'll run them until they wear down. That's my plan for this thing. Duratrax is very well known. They had their Stress Tech guarantee for their parts even way back then, so that means they have confidence in their craftsmanship with this plastic. So that's pretty well what I'm going to do. I kind of want to come up with a name for this, and I think I know what it is. It's going to be. I think I'm going to call this thing Project Assassin. May keep the stock body on it, maybe not. We'll have to wait and see. But for now, that's it. Peace out.